Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Juan Cruz Fortunati, and some of you may know that for the past 2 years, I've been working on data visualization, mainly for PayPal, building dashboards for internal users and administrative things. Um, so when you're working with user or customer-based datasets, it's almost a guarantee that you are going to have to work with geolocalized information. In fact, a big percentage of the BIS world consists of maps, like heat maps, choropleths, contour maps, just to name a few. And so when working with maps, it always comes up that you need to plot some data on some random part of the globe, or maybe create a custom localization by assigning a polygon to a given lat long coordinate. That's actually something that we had to do for PayPal. We had to assign a polygon to each transaction in a huge dataset that consisted in millions of records. And so using Google or any other tool wasn't a possibility because of the amount of transactions that we would have to have handled. And so we had to do this custom. And yeah, so working with maps sometimes can be hard. And so at the first stage of our approach to when we needed a map was searching for the GeoJSON file on Google. And after we find it, well, actually, if we manage to, because sometimes you cannot, at least on Google, let's say that we find it weighted like maybe 50 megabytes. And then we had to use some tool to simplify it, so to simplify the polygons and to make it small enough so it didn't take a lot of time to load, like maybe going from 50 megabytes to 1 megabyte with simplifying those polygons. One tool that helped us on that was Mapshaper. Then we can check it out. Of course, after we do all of that, some requirement in the project changed, and we needed to add some kind of information to each one of the features and to each polygon. And let's say, for example, the country code, or maybe the population or the area of the polygon, or the city or the state, right? When I say polygons, I'm referring to some geo zone, let's say, like a city or a state or a country. So during that journey, as I said, we found Mapshaper, and this is a great tool that can simplify, merge, and filter on the fly in your Explorer. And this allowed us to shrink those GeoJSON files to something that we could handle in the front end. And after that, we found about GADM. This site provides a huge database of free maps encoded in the geopackage and shapefile formats. But the issue with this database is that the way to download and use them is way too complicated to work on a day-to-day basis, right? You have to go to GADM, and then if it loads, and then you have to select the country. For example, we can go to country, and then select, let's say, United States. And then you can download the shapefile, right? And this file will weigh something around 30 megabytes. And yeah, 30 megabytes. And this file actually will contain all the information for the 3 levels of data that it has, right? The 3 administrative levels. So it will be the country level, the state level, and the city level. But still, you have to download this, then go through, let's say, Mapshaper, right? And And when you load this file into Mapshaper, then you can filter and merge, or maybe select only the parts that you need of that map. So yeah, it's really complicated. So during this journey, the idea of creating a tool to be able to generate whatever map we needed began to emerge. And so this is how ResGIS and the tool that we are presenting today was born. When you are to the site, as you see here, you will be welcome with our free tool, where you can simply type, of course, when you enter, the country that you are in will be displayed here. In this case, I'm in Argentina, but this is recognizing my VPN, so it's using United States. But I could search whatever place I want, for example, Italy. Then I can select it. And after that, it will download the GeoJSON file for this site and plot it in the map. Then we can select whatever representation for this file we want, whatever format to export it we want, and then we can export it. After that, we have, in this example, I exported the SVG for this file, and here it is. Of course, that we could actually export the GeoJSON file, for example, and then we can go to this site, geojson.io, and let's copy the file to our clipboard, and then we can paste it here and check it out. Okay, so while that is loading, you can also, let's say, select some other part, some other polygon, for example, France, that it's really near Italy. And you can combine those two maps, and then when you export it in SVG, you have both maps in your file. That's it. These default maps are exporting with some information. Actually, you can check it out right here. That somewhere over here we have the data, some data information, like for example the ID of the Alpha3 ID for this country, and also the name. So maybe if you wanted to implement some kind of tooltip on this SVG, you could do it. And of course, in the GeoJSON file that I copied earlier, here it is. Well, it's not that well formatted because it's trying to occupy the minimum space. But you could see somewhere here that you have properties, and this is coming with the ID, the name of the shape that you downloaded, and also the lat long position of the center, and the boundaries of the bounding box that contains the country. So yeah, this is our free tool and our main tool on our application, but we also built an API. And in fact, this API is the one powering this application. So let's go to the documentation so you can check it out. And the API is basically a REST API that you can consume after getting an API key. You have rate limits, maybe some caching, since the GeoJSON sometimes wait a lot depending on the resolution that you want them to be. These GeoJSONs will be cached. You have rate limits, of course. We have errors, and you have pagination for sometimes. For example, if you wanted to get all the states on the US, sure that you will have to paginate this with 2 pages at least. I believe I don't remember the exact amount, but yeah, you will have to use at least 2 pages to see it, because the maximum items per page are 30. Also, and this is another big part of it, you can get your map in the resolution that you wanted, right? And then you can just get the map, not like as some map of 50 megabytes, but just a map of 1 megabyte or maybe 2 megabytes, depending on how crisp you want the borders of your map to be. So after, before going to the endpoints, let's try to register and get an API key. So let's do this, like something like demo. Okay. And now let's log in. And after we log in, we can try to get an API key. My internet is working really slow today. Maybe we have to, okay, that's it. So then we can go to new key inside of the administration page. And we can name it just whatever. And after that, we will get our key. It would take a minute. And here's my key. Then I can, I will copy it to my clipboard. And then I can check again the administration page to see how I should use this key. And we can configure Postman to use it. Oh, I'm clicking administration page, sorry. Then I can go to, for example, authentication, and it says that I have to put the API key header containing my API key, right? So I will set that on headers here in Postman, API key, and I will set my key. Of course, you have to store this somewhere that you only know, so nobody uses it. And then we can go to some of the endpoints that we have. For example, let's start with path. The path endpoint, and let's start with something over here. Then we can copy this. Let's say that we wanted the JSON file for United States, right? We should do that and using our API key and going to this endpoint, and this will return the JSON file for the United States. Mapshaper will actually format it for us, and we can see here that we have all these properties. Then, if we see in the documentation, there are a lot of parameters that we can tweak our response or API response. For example, if we set the center parameter to true, instead of returning the geometry for the contour of the country, it will return the center of that polygon, right, of the United States, for example. And let's say that we wanted to get all the states for the United States. Then we should just set the admin level property to 1, as it's said over here, and then we can get all at least 30 states of the US. For example, Alabama, also Georgia, and so on. And if we see the response headers of this response, we will see that there are total records 51, and we have total pages 2, right? Then we can go and see, check somewhere over here in the body that we don't have everything. Maybe we can copy this without the center and check it on geojson.io. And to make it faster, let me show you another property that we have. that this is the resolution, right? We can check it out over here. And all the endpoints on our API will have this resolution that we can set it up. And this is a percentage from 0 to 1. So maybe if we set something like resolution, so we can make it really fast. Let's copy this, that is full resolution. Let's paste it over here, and then we can see the difference. You will see that, yeah, we only have some of all the states because the response is paginated, right? If we wanted to add all the states, we should pass the page parameter to with a 2, right? And we will get the second page, and then we will have all the countries. But if we set the resolution to 0.01, and after we get it, let me show you the borderline or the coastline of Florida. If you see here, it's not that crisp, but it's crisp enough that when you see it from, let's say, somewhere or here, it's well defined. But if you put something like 0.1, it will become a little bit more with less points, right? What the API is doing is simplifying the amounts of points that it's using, and so the response actually now it only weighs 73 kilobytes, and before it weighed something around 500, if I remember it correctly, maybe 300. Yeah, 300 kilobytes. So you have like 6 times less the size, right? So it's a really big improvement when you're working on the front end. And of course, yeah, we have a lot of more endpoints, and a lot more are coming on the way. For example, the lat long, and this is one of the most useful because you could get all the polygons within a bounding box of latitude and longitude with max and min latitude and longitude. And then you have the endpoints for countries, where you can get, for example, the polygon for a country based on its ALPA2 code. For example, the US will be US, for Spain will be S. And you could get all the countries by region, for example, Europe or Americas. And the same for subregion, like North America or South America, etc. So I hope you find this useful, and let us know what you think about our tool. And that's it.